Valentine's Day is just around the corner, so let's look at the top 10 Valentine's Day gifts that you can make for your sweetheart that will melt her heart and save you money by using a laser and a 3D printer. Hi, this is Ken of Vase Innovations, and today I'm going to show you my top 10 Valentine's Day gifts that I made using my EM Smart dual laser engraver and my Bambu Lab A1 3D printer. So let's get started. I bought my Bambu Lab 3D printer with my own money. However, I want to thank EM Smart for sending me the dual laser engraver for my evaluation. Most of the 10 Valentine's Day gifts use both the laser and the 3D printer. A couple only use the laser and a couple only use the 3D printer. For any laser engraving or cutting, I use my EM Smart dual laser engraver with the diode laser mode. For my 3D printed parts, I mainly use basic PLA or silk PLA, and for a vase I used PETG. I've included links below for any designs I found online. Here are the gifts in no particular order. Number 1, ring box. I designed this simple ring box in Fusion 360, 3D printed it, and used Lightburn software and my laser to engrave and cut this 1/16 of an inch thick pre-finished alder wood. The box is about 2 inches in diameter and 1.5 inches high. The lid easily comes off, revealing a foam insert that holds that special ring for your loved one. If only the stone was real. Number 2, heart-shaped jewelry box. If you want to give your Valentine a small jewelry box, then this heart-shaped jewelry box is the answer. I also designed this in Fusion 360, but unlike the ring box, I designed the heart-shaped jewelry box to have a recessed lid. Since there needs to be a way to remove the lid, I designed this heart-shaped knob and attached it with a screw. The box is about 4 inches wide by 3.5 inches long by 2 inches high. I imported the SVG file of the heart lid into Lightburn software, and I laser engraved and cut the heart insert out of alder wood. Lastly, I modified the SVG file and cut the heart-shaped felt liner for the bottom of the jewelry box. The felt is adhesive backed, so it works perfectly to protect any jewelry. The trick to install the felt is to peel back 1/2 of the liner and use the portion of the felt that still has the liner on it to align it inside the box. Then apply pressure on the portion of the felt that has the adhesive exposed so that it sticks to the box. Then remove the felt liner completely and slowly apply pressure to the remaining portion of the felt, and you will have a perfectly aligned felt liner in the bottom of the box. Number 3, Valentine's Day card. You are going to be a romantic hero if you make your own laser cut Valentine's Day card. I used standard paper stock in 2 colors, white and red. I folded the white cardstock in half, forming a blank card. Then I designed the front of the card in Lightburn software, and I cut the text and graphic using my EM Smart dual laser engraver. Make sure you tape the cardstock down so that it doesn't move during the laser cutting. Next, I cut a background piece out of the red cardstock, and I used a glue stick to glue it to the back of the front of the card. Lastly, I laser cut some red hearts and glued them to the inside page of the card. Now the hard part, coming up with something romantic to say inside the card. Number 4, romantic couple silhouette with stand. This romantic couple silhouette is a nice design by Magic Laser Crafts on Maker World. I scaled the design down to fit onto my 4¼ inch wide alder wood stock, and I engraved and cut the silhouette. Instead of laser cutting the base, I preferred to design and make a 3D printed base instead. Then I just glued the silhouette to the base. Number 5, Valentine's Day heart-shaped photo stand. If you want to tug at your sweetheart's heart, make this Valentine's Day heart photo frame designed by Magic Laser Crafts on Maker World. I scaled down the SVG file to fit onto my 4¼ inch alder wood and cut out the 2-piece photo frame using my laser. I went into our box of photos and found some cool older pictures of our family, and I cut them to fit the photo frames. Then I glued the photos to the background, and then I glued the photo frame to the assembly. Finally, I designed and made a 3D printed base because I like the look of the 3D printed base versus a thin laser cut wood base. By the way, if you want to engrave items like this and start your own small business, you can explore more about the machine using my affiliate link in the description below, and use my code RIST to enjoy $100 off. Number 6. Contemporary Cylinder Jewelry Box. I took on a more ambitious project by designing and building this 4-tray contemporary jewelry box. I used to make this design using pewter and wood, but this time I wanted to use 3D printing as the main technique, along with laser engraved wood inserts. I designed everything in Fusion 360. Then I printed all the parts and assembled it using a stainless steel rod and stop collars. I added a felt insert into the bottom of each tray and 3D printed dividers in 2 of the trays. Lastly, I engraved and cut 2 alder wood inserts, one for the top and the other for a special message on the base of the jewelry box. Number 7. Heart-shaped Valentine's Day window ornament. I came across this Valentine heart gift box by Blahi on MakerWorld. I like the lid of the box, but I'm not a big fan of making boxes using a laser, and I already had made a couple of jewelry boxes, so I decided to make a window ornament instead, just using the lid. I imported the SVG file into Lightburn software, and I scaled the lid down to fit onto my 4¼ inch alder wood. I laser cut the image, and since several of the parts were very delicate, since I had scaled everything down, I decided to glue a backer using the same red cardstock that I had used for my Valentine's Day card. I added a ribbon, and I think it turned out great. Number 8. Vase with 3D printed flowers. Next, I 3D printed this bouquet of roses that was remixed by Golub 17 on MakerWorld. I used silk PLA for the roses and basic PLA for the stems. The stems were printed flat, so I used a heat gun to soften the plastic so I could bend the stems and leaves into a 3-dimensional pattern. Then I glued the roses to the stems using super glue. I 3D printed the spiral vases using PETG that was uploaded to printables by Max413049. However, the original design is by Big Bad Bison on Thingiverse.com. I think the roses turned out really nice. Who needs to spend $40 on real roses when you can give your Valentine these silk PLA flowers for a fraction of the price? It's the thought that counts, right? Number 9. I Love You String Stand. I fell in love with this Valentine heart string art by Wisnadruk 3D on MakerWorld. I had to see if the strings would print horizontally with no support, and they really did. It took a bit over 4 hours to print, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I'm sure your Valentine will like it too. And number 10, engraved cork coaster. Lastly, I designed and 3D printed this drink coaster, and then I laser engraved this cork insert, which will make a very personal addition to your table setting and remind your Valentine every day that you love her. I promise your Valentine will be so touched by you making a few of these customized, highly personalized Valentine's Day gifts instead of just giving her another box of chocolates for this Valentine's Day. If you found this video useful, please consider hitting the like button and also subscribing to my channel so you can see other 3D printing and laser projects that I have in the works. Thanks for watching. Bye!